Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is a top favorite foundation video. Now I know I've done one before in the past and it's actually one of my more popular videos on my YouTube channel. However, I decided to do an updated version just because I feel like the foundations that I've listed in that video are kind of outdated just because there's so many new options now. There's so many new options drugstore, and not that any of these are drugstore now that I think about it. This is more high-end, so maybe the description of this video will be my top 5 high-end foundations because looking at them now, they are all kind of pricey, so I'm sorry about that. But again, when we have acne scars and we do have oily skin, which is the majority of you that are following me, we do tend to risk the price tag and spend more money on foundations that are actually more high-end just because our skin is so sensitive, prone to foundations from the drugstore. Now, because this video is catered to people with oily skin and do have acne or some sort of scarring like myself, this video is more on foundations that are more mattifying. I do have other favorite foundations that aren't meant to mattify the skin. However, these are my favorite foundations in terms of coverage, longevity, and just overall feeling on your face. I mean, you know, when you have oily skin, different foundations tend to wear differently. Some foundations last all day, some foundations don't. Some foundations are more like everyday, and some foundations are like special occasions because they're so full coverage. So with that being said, I'm just gonna go ahead and dive right in. The first foundation, and it's more of a BB cream, and I absolutely love this just because I feel like it's so natural looking on the skin. I feel like you can definitely achieve full coverage with it. However, at the same time, it's not ultra matte. This foundation is going to last, you know, 8, 10, maybe 12 hours depending what you set it on, what kind of primer you use, what you're doing overall. But what I love about this foundation is that it's so easy to apply, it's so buildable, it's just honestly flawless. And this is the Nars Velvet Matte Skin Tint from Nars. Now, this foundation is 1.7 ounces and it does retail for about $50, so this is one of the pricier options. However, I love to use this when I'm going to the pool, when it's like everyday foundation, just because I feel like this foundation has so much coverage, but at the same time it looks so natural on the skin. And also, I love the shade. I'm in the shade medium 1 St. Moritz, and what I love about this foundation is not only does it really like look like skin, it matches my skin tone. Sometimes I don't even have to, like, literally this is all I wear, and my eyebrows. I draw on my eyebrows, I put this on, and it just looks like a flawless version of my natural self. So what I love about this foundation is just that you can wear it all day. It's so versatile, you know, like it could be easy, like just like put it on with a beauty blender, kind of like shear it out, make your skin look flawless and just on the go. But at the same time, if you really wanted to use this for, you know, like a special occasion, you could definitely do that with this foundation. You just have to build up the coverage. So I just love the versatility of this. And the consistency is not super liquidy, but it's not super like goopy. It's more like somewhere in between. But guys, I just love this foundation. And again, none of these foundations have made me break out. So that is why I'm also making the video, because a lot of times I love foundations, but then like overall they make me break out. So like over the past year that I've used this, I've just absolutely obsessed. This is one of my go-to. So the next foundation that I want to talk to you about, I've actually used this before. However, it wasn't one of my favorites just because I had gotten it in the wrong shade. I believe I've mentioned this in my favorite videos, and I still have to review this foundation. Hourglass was so gracious in sending this over to me because I do cater to people with acne scars and oily skin, and I am going to do a review on this by itself. And this is the Immaculate Liquid Powder Foundation. I absolutely love this foundation, guys. And they sent me the shade Ivory, which is what I should have gotten from the very get-go. I believe the other shade that I got before was Nude, and that is way too pink toned for my skin tone. It was just clashing, and I never used it. I literally had that foundation for like 3-4 years, never used it because of that issue, and I never returned it because I had bought it on QVC. So it wasn't something that I purchased at Sephora and I could easily go return it. It was something that I had to ship. It was just a hot mess. I don't like dealing with that. Most of the times when I get something wrong, I just end up keeping it. And this is the Hourglass Immaculate Liquid Powder Foundation. Feels like nothing. And I cannot stress that enough. I've coated my whole face with this. I've built this up and it still feels like nothing. It is more on the natural side of finishes. It's not going to be super full coverage, but it's not going to be just medium coverage. It's definitely somewhere in between. You can definitely build it up, you know, like spot conceal kind of stuff. However, this foundation is definitely not going to be a full coverage. This is not the Marc Jacobs foundation. This is not the new Urban Decay foundation. This is definitely going to be your medium buildable coverage. However, this foundation will last you all day. And when I say all day, I mean 12, 15 hours. Like, this foundation is your go-to. And I have to say, guys, I even find this more long wearing than my Estee Lauder Double Wear, but in terms of coverage, I feel like the Estee Lauder Double Wear has a higher potency in that department. This is more on the, if y'all know what the Amazonian clay looks like, it's more of a clay type thing. It's kind of goopy. It's not liquidy whatsoever. So, and I will say, guys, that with this foundation, I do need like 2-3 pumps to get a full coverage or a medium buildable coverage. So this isn't something that's going to give you full coverage on with one pump. However, it is worth it, and I do think that if you're a working girl, a working boy like myself, then, or in my case, I went to school a lot and like I was there all day sewing, but definitely recommend this. I just feel like this foundation, it could save your life. If you have acne scars, I feel like you would definitely benefit from this. The only downside to this is that I do recommend that you use their primer, and their primer is also expensive. I believe they have a small tube for $20, and the normal size, which is this size, which is 1 ounce, I believe, also $50. So, you know, they go great together, but ultimately you are spending like $100. But I do recommend this. I just feel like it covers up acne scars, and it just looks amazing because it really makes your skin look so smooth because it has that velvety consistency. Moving on, my third favorite foundation is Marc Jacobs Remarkable Foundation, and as y'all know, this foundation literally got me so many subscribers, so many views. Y'all went crazy over this, and I have to say I went crazy over this. Like, I was literally using this every day. However, if you watch my original foundation review, I believe I said I was shade 46 Golden Beige or Golden Medium. I'm not sure, but I know the shade was 46. I actually had to go back to the store ever since then, because what happens with this foundation is once you've been using it for a while, the foundation oxidizes inside the bottle. It might start off super light when you first purchase it, and then as time goes on, it does tend to oxidize inside of the bottle, so you do get a darker result. And I actually went back twice. This is my second bottle, I believe. Like, the first time I went back and got 33, and then which is beige, I believe, and now I have 32 beige light, and this is a perfect fit for me. At first it was super light, but but it started to oxidize, so now it's my perfect shade. So the thing about this is, like y'all know, it's extremely full coverage. I cannot stress that enough. I do think that this foundation is worth it for the $60 price tag. I think that the coverage is phenomenal. Dot on each section of your face will cover it completely. It's so full coverage. The only downside to this is that it can last you all day. However, it does require constant touch-ups. This is not a super matte foundation. This is more on the demi matte natural matte finish, I have to say, because it does start to look more dewy. It gives you more of a glow throughout the day, but definitely worth it, just because I feel like for people like myself that do have acne scars, do suffer from acne, do have blemishes, do not have perfect skin, I just feel like this is the complete package. It is going to cover everything up, and this is definitely an all-nighter foundation. Like, if you were to go out to the club, this is going to last you all night. You're going to look flawless. Your selfies are going to look flawless. And there's so many shades for this foundation. You just cannot not find your shade. Like, bomb.com. Definitely recommend this if you're looking for extreme full coverage foundation that's also lightweight. This is the bomb.com. But there is another option that I recently reviewed that will be coming up in a couple minutes. So my next favorite foundation, and I'm actually running out because I've used this so much. I believe this is like my 4th bottle, but it does last a long time. Actually, I believe I got this exactly a year ago in May at the airport traveling to Paris, because I was like, I cannot go to Paris without my favorite foundation. And this is the Estee Lauder Devil Wear. I'm actually out of this already. I have to go back and buy some more. I think it dried inside the bottle. The pump is from MAC.com, so this is a MAC pump. Because MAC is actually made from the Estee Lauder company, the pump does fit. Just go into MAC and ask for a pump, and it costs like $5, I think, and it fits. And like, if I buy a new bottle, I can just take this pump off and put it on the new bottle. So that was very convenient. I do love this foundation so much. I just feel like this foundation will last you 24 hours if you have to. I have literally woken up the next day from going out to a party. This was in the past during my college years. I don't really party anymore that much, but I remember we used to go to the club and we wouldn't get home till 6 in the morning because we would go to San Antonio or Austin, and I lived in New Braunfels, which is 45 minutes away. So I would end up staying the night at someone's house, and then I'd come back the next morning, or we go to breakfast the next morning, and my face would still be intact. This foundation is bomb. In terms of longevity, this foundation is bomb. This is a medium full coverage, so you can achieve full coverage, like I said, building the foundation up. This has more of a liquidy consistency, so it is more blendable to everything. However, the only con to this is that they don't have enough foundation shades. I actually found this is slightly too light for me, but then it oxidizes a little bit darker on me. When I was in Europe, I was looking for a shade that they have exclusive to Europe. It's 3W0 Warm Beige or something like that. However, that shade is not sold here in America, so I'm really disappointed about that, because I feel like that would have been the perfect shade, because this is too light. That would have been just perfect, because I feel like 3W1 is too dark for me. That's the only con to Estee Lauder. I feel like there's a lot of foundation shades, but there's not one specific for myself, just because I have that awkward skin tone. The next foundation, and this is my #1 foundation right now. I have not been using this all year, but I've literally been using it for a week now. Obsessed. Like, how was I living my life without this foundation? And it is the Urban Decay All Nighter foundation in the shade shade 4.0. I do think I have to go back though and get a lighter shade, maybe 3, because I do feel like it does start to oxidize throughout the day. So if you watch my videos, keep this in mind. If you did watch that video and you are going to purchase it, make sure you're aware of that, because my mom is the same shade as me, 4.0. However, this does work for me because I just feel like I can highlight with concealer or whatever and I'll be fine. However, I do feel like it's slightly too yellow. But with that being said, I love this foundation. I feel like this foundation I could literally go to sleep, wake up, and it's still fine. It lasts that long, guys, that long. And if you see my video, it makes me look absolutely flawless. The one pump will give you full coverage everywhere. Like, this is literally a better version of the Becca Ultimate Coverage Complexion Cream or the Kat Von D Lock-It Foundation. I just feel like this foundation is so much more lightweight, so much more convenient, and it is $40, I believe. So it is slightly cheaper than the Becca Ultimate Coverage, and a little goes a long way, and it is extremely buildable. So if you did want a super full coverage, like flawless, you can build it up and it'll still feel like nothing. I feel like this foundation is so much more lightweight than this foundation, and that's why I adore this foundation, and that is why it is my #1. On top of lasting all day, it does cover up all my acne scars, it covers up all my blemishes. This foundation is a gift from the gods. It is a gift from the gods, and I don't know how I was living my life without this. Urban Decay, why did you not release this foundation earlier? Why didn't you release this when I had really bad skin? Like, this foundation would have saved me so many traumas. It doesn't make me break out. So far, I have had no allergic reaction to this. It's been about a week. Normally by now, I would have already been dying. And like I said, I cannot find any flaws to this foundation. I'm not wearing it right now, however, and this isn't my favorites. Today I'm wearing the Pro Glow foundation from L'Oreal because I really do like this. But like I said, this isn't catered for oily, acne-prone skin, so I'm not putting this in here, but it does, I love it. This foundation is just thebomb.com, and if you want me to talk more about it, definitely check out my video that I just posted before this. But this is thebomb.com, and I definitely recommend it if you're looking for a full coverage foundation that's going to last you all night, and at the same time it's super breathable. Your skin isn't going to feel clogged up. It's going to feel like you're not wearing anything. This foundation is my go-to, and that is why it's #1, because it has full coverage, it lasts all night, and it doesn't feel like anything. And that is the key to the perfect foundation. When it doesn't feel like anything but you're covered up, girl, that is when you know you found your holy grail, and this is it for me. Not saying that I'm still not going to try other foundations, obviously, as soon as they come out, but this right now is my holy grail, and I can't imagine my life without it since I started using it. With that being said, guys, that basically concludes today's video. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this updated version of the video that I had already posted. And make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. If you have any questions about any of these foundations, make sure you let me know down below. Add me on Snapchat at DGAFpanda. And if you have any extra questions, definitely ask me there, and I'll be able to reply to you instantly because I'm always on Snapchat. And definitely check me out because sometimes I talk about makeup. I'm just updating you guys on my life on Snapchat. And definitely add me on Instagram at DGAFpanda. I'm always posting makeup looks there. I'm always talking about what I'm using on my face on there. So sometimes I'm posting little mini tutorials, whatever it is. Definitely check me out on Snapchat, Instagram. I'm totally plug whoring myself right now, but I'm shameless, I can't help it. So with that being said, guys, definitely make sure you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and if you watch this video all the way to the very end, let me know what your favorite pancakes is because I want to know. With that being said, DGAFpanda out. I found a job, so I feel like I'm just throwing myself out there. It's kind of crazy what life is after graduation. I am gonna kind of start a vlogging